Hi there, just a quick tip for you today. I like to buy brushes wherever I find them at good value, but sometimes the heads might be what I want, but the body may not. Case in point, this old one that I've got, which is really long. Now it's fine if you're going to be doing big scale painting and you're working at a distance, but I tend to do most of my painting close up. I don't want to poke myself in the eye with something like this, so I prefer to shorten the handle. Now you could try just sort of snapping it, which might work, but you'd end up with a pretty rough result. You could use a small saw or possibly even a heavy duty knife like this one to take the end off. But there is another way of doing it which involves using something which you may well have around if you are into nail art and acrylic nails and things like that. And that is the good old e-file or nail drill, depending on what you like to call it, I guess. Now this is only a cheap one. I got it probably about a year ago. It does what I need it to do just fine. But it's not just for nails, it's a multi-purpose tool really. Now, for those not familiar with these things, the idea of these tools is so that if you're doing gel nails, for example, you can more quickly remove layers of lacquer. If you are skilled enough, you can do what I do, which is use them to tidy up cuticles and things like that. You can also use them for removing rough skin on your feet and various other bits and pieces. Now I'm just going to take this bit here out, and to do that I just twist and pull out. And what I'm going to replace it with is one of these things which holds an arbor band, and an arbor band is rather like sandpaper in a tiny little roll. You can see some green paint on here because I've been using it. So you slot that on, you put this in and you twist lock and you tug it just to make sure it's secure. And these things generally have an on-off switch, a speed switch or a speed dial, and then they have backwards and forwards, so you can have this turning to the right or turning to the left, whichever you want. A holder to actually put this in, and a power switch on the back. So yeah, very simple piece of kit, and there's no reason to be scared of it. It's really very easy to use. And what I did with one of my brushes is I used this and I just switched it on to maximum power. And this arbor band isn't a really rough one, it's relatively fine, so you could use a rougher one to do it more quickly. And I literally just put it where I wanted to cut and just turned my brush so that eventually it whittled it through. And I was able just to snap off the end. And then what I did was I tidied up the end a little bit. I'm just going to show you what it's like. Just going to turn it up right away to max. And it would help if I had it plugged in. Hold on a sec. You know, they don't work when they're not plugged in. There we go. And you can just very gently do your shaping. Okay, I've shaped this one already, so I don't need to do anything much to it. But it will do it very easily and pretty quickly, which is great. So once I got that done, I thought, well, it looks a little bit untidy. So all I did was I painted it with some nail gel, in this case a red one, and flashed it under my UV lamp for a minute. And so I have a nice smooth end, nothing rough about that whatsoever, and I have a brush that I'm happy to use. Speaking of nail stuff, I've actually used this brush to do a polygel on my nails. I haven't got it on at the moment, I've got normal gel on, but it will actually shape it quite nicely because it's quite firm. Now, because the bristles are relatively coarse, it will leave striations in it while you're working with it. But virtually as soon as you've finished modelling the polygel, the striations will disappear and it'll just level out. And you just dip that in a tiny bit of alcohol, tamp it down on a piece of paper, and off you go. The one I used was a Savaland one. This one here, which I got from the Savaland shop on AliExpress. 30 grams in a tube, and this is actually quite a nice thick one. I did have another one previously which was not anywhere near as thick as this. As you can see from the bit that's standing up, it's quite able to keep shape, and it's so stiff that it's actually quite difficult to get it out of the tube, but it's great. It did the job fine, what I wanted it to do, and of course I don't just use it for nails, do I? Don't be silly. Why would I just stick to its usage? So there we go, that's how to shorten your brushes if you want to without raiding anyone's toolbox. Take care now, bye bye.